And welcome to today's video. And in today's video, I will be discussing why I don't think that elections are really safe for Democrats still. A lot of people after this election have been looking at it and been saying, I think that this election is, or they've been seeing this and they've been thinking after they see Georgia blue, Arizona blue, North Carolina a tight race. They're thinking, or it's always a tight race, but still, they almost won there. In fact, if North Carolina shifted how it did from 2016 to 2020 in the following 4 years, Democrats would win by about a percentage point in 2024. That's off topic, but this is why I don't think that elections are necessarily safe for Democrats at this point. And as you can see, I have 5 states highlighted as battlegrounds. They are Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. These states all voted red in 2016 and voted blue in 2020. So, there's 5, and even if you were to win 2 of these 5, even if you were to win Pennsylvania and Michigan, you still won't win. You need to win 3/5 of these states. You need to win the majority of them. And in fact, I believe, this might be wrong, yeah, if you win the 3 lowest, 3 states with the least electoral votes, you only get to up to a tie. So you almost certainly need to win the state of Pennsylvania. And you definitely need at least 2 more. But at this point, I think that, like I said, Democrats still will probably be winning elections, but it's going to be not necessarily closer than they were previously, but I don't necessarily know that we should come to the conclusion that Republicans can't win anymore. Because as you look at this map, Georgia, Joe Biden barely won. I think that there is a very good chance that it goes. Sorry about that. I think that there's a very good chance that it goes blue again in 2024. I think that Georgia will once again be a legitimate toss-up, just as I said it was this year, and it was a 0.3% margin, so it's going to be still very close. I think that without a Donald Trump-like candidate, it could be a Democratic or a Republican win. However, I also think that after you look at this, David Perdue he was he outperformed Donald Trump by about 900 votes. So as you can see, people tend to, according to this year at least, vote in Georgia as they do for all Republicans, as they voted essentially the same for David Perdue. And while Jon Ossoff did not do nearly as well as Joe Biden, a large reason for that was third party voters. So at this point, I think that Georgia is once again a legitimate toss up. But let's just assume that the Republicans are able to pull off a win here, making the entire South red. They're at 248. At this point, all that they need is 22 more electoral votes. Let's assume that, say, the Democrats can pull off in Arizona, because I think that they will. They've won both Senate seats there, and while that might have been a result of Martha McSally and Republicans or Georgia voters simply disliking her, I still think that it would be like we talk about, oh, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, people just wanted to get Donald Trump out of office. And while that may be true, if people are seeing Martha McSally and thinking the same thing, they're seeing Donald Trump, we want to get him out of office. We're seeing this person, we want to get them out of office. And if you're saying, oh, they just wanted to get them out of office or stop them from getting in office with every Republican, then at this point, it's they don't want Republicans to get in office. And I think that Arizona is still going to go blue. I think it's going to be a very small margin, a tilt margin. If they do very well, maybe a lean. But I think it's going to be a really tight race. But the Democrats are only at 243 right now. And at this point, it all comes down to this Rust Belt. I think that if any of these Rust Belt states were to go red, it would definitely be Wisconsin. That's the wrong characterization. Wisconsin, Joe Biden won here by less than Donald Trump did in 2016. I think that Wisconsin, of all these states, it's a legitimate toss-up, just like Georgia was, or at least looking ahead. I understand that's like 4 years from now, but at the moment, it's looking to be like a legit toss-up. It's going to be very close. I had to characterize as likely blue. It was far, far from that. I think that at this point, we can characterize it as a Republican state just for the sake of this video. Although if it were to go blue, it would not surprise me. It really, at this point, depends on how it it depends on how the candidates tend to treat this and how the voters understand these people's messages. Because I think that if the Democrats were to run somebody like an establishment Democrat or someone from the Midwest like Michael Bloomberg, or I said an establishment Democrat like Michael Bloomberg or someone from the Midwest like Pete Buttigieg, they would probably be able to do pretty well in Wisconsin and Michigan and the Rust Belt region. But if they were to run someone like AOC, it all depends because a lot of these voters are voters working in manufacturing, working in factories, blue collar workers, and their votes are really what wins the Rust Belt and essentially the election. And people might see AOC as someone who will take their jobs, but they might also see, oh, she wants to, because a lot of these voters vote economically, because or I say economically, they want to keep their jobs, obviously, and they tend to vote on that. And Donald Trump was looking like he was going to help everyone and get their jobs back at that time in 2016. That's why the Rust Belt went blue. So, of course, a lot of unemployment in Pennsylvania as well helped it to vote blue. But at this point, I think that if people see someone like an AOC, Elizabeth Warren type candidate that wants clean energy, they might see, oh, they want to take our jobs, or they might see this is one of the fastest growing, I forgot the word, one of the fastest growing things in our economy. I don't know why, I just blanked out, and I forgot the word there. Please remind me in the comment section, because I completely forgot it, but one of the fastest growing economic areas is what I'll just say, as I forgot the word, as I said. And they'll see that, and they'll realize that, or if they see it like that, they might see, oh, she can get us our jobs back, or oh, Bernie can get us our jobs back, and they might see this as something like that. But it really depends on how these voters interpret their messages. And then in the state of Pennsylvania, it voted blue by lean margins. It voted red by tilt margins when it went red in 2016. I think that a lot of this was Erie County and a lot of high turnout in Philadelphia. And if Democrats can bring up that turnout in Philadelphia, it will probably go blue. If they can't, it will probably go red. Or not necessarily probably go red. It really depends, but obviously they need high turnout in Philadelphia. And for the sake of this, we'll just assume that Democrats win there. And then it comes down to Michigan. Michigan, of this Rust Belt region, I would say is the most liberal state of them all. So I think that that's more or less a Democratic win there. And Democrats, obviously, they could lose Pennsylvania, they could win Georgia. But at this point, it really does all come down to, assuming that Democrats lose Georgia, it all comes down to this Rust Belt. And at the end of the day, it'll come down to Pennsylvania if Wisconsin goes red, and it'll come down to Michigan. But that's assuming that Georgia goes red. I think that there's a solid chance that it goes blue. I think it's really like a 50-50 chance. Also, Nebraska's second. That could go both ways. I think a lot of it was that uprising against Joe Biden, even as Don Bacon was able to win their House race. So that one's tighter. But I think that at this point, it all comes down to the Rust Belt, Georgia, and Arizona. When I say the Rust Belt, more specifically, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I think that if Democrats were to make a play for Ohio, they would have to make a play quickly if they want to keep it in play. They would have to try hard to win there. They would have to try to go after a lot of those Obama to Trump voters in Ohio if they want to be able to win it. Iowa is more or less a lost cause. They could try. I don't necessarily know that they'd be able to do much there. But, and Indiana is, I think that they would need someone from Indiana that's more moderate to win, if you want to win there. Like, you would need Pete Buttigieg, probably, or I don't know any other Democrats from Indiana, but someone along the lines of Pete Buttigieg. And then Illinois, obviously, not in play. I don't even know if Indiana would be considered in play. It hasn't been in play since 2008. Obama won it by 1%, and then Mitt Romney won it by, likely margin, so I don't know that it's necessarily in play. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to Georgia, Arizona, and the Rust Belt. And if Democrats can win the majority of these, they'll win. If Republicans can win the majority of those, then they'll win. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please stay tuned for the next video, whenever that may be. Yeah, I'll see you there. Bye.